Whether you're in student athletics or you join a class for individuals 65 and older, circuit training is so beneficial to altering your body composition. Plus, the number one reason I feel circuit training is so popular amongst many, many people is that it's good if you have a limited amount of time.
Hello and welcome to the Core Podcast. We're your hosts, Aline Keller
And Shannon Polson.
I'm a precision nutrition certified coach.
And I'm a NASM certified personal trainer for over 13 years. We support women 30 years old and over to pursue health through realistic nutrition and fitness strategies. Our main passion is to help you find that smile when you look in the mirror, find freedom when you eat, and joy when moving your body.
Make sure to subscribe for your weekly dose of doable health tips, practical advice, and so much more. It's the health education you wish you'd had. Everyone. So today we are continuing our mini series on training systems. If you happen to miss the first episode that was aired July 5th, 2023, that's 2 episodes before this one. So that was training systems 1. And today we're talking about training systems. We're continuing this series and let's get to it.
All right. So this is part 2 of our 3-part mini series on resistance training systems. So if you haven't listened to part 1, I definitely recommend doing that first. And even to go back even further, if you haven't listened to the mini series of the different phases of training, I actually recommend starting there because moving into different training systems can be for people that have 6 or more months of exercising underneath their belt. The various training systems that we talk about in this 3-part series, they're all great to know and to understand, but it is going to be more beneficial to you and honestly less confusing if you just get those phases of training in first. All right, so this is a mini series that covers various structures of resistance training methods. And this is for a wide range of effects depending on your goals and your abilities when it comes to your fitness. These training systems emphasize the approaches you can take with your strength training to, again, maximize different adaptations for your body. So specific adaptations on your body, you will adapt to these different training systems. And that's why it's so fun to have a variety to kind of play around with, just giving you the allowance to pick and choose which approach fits your current activity level as well as your current and future goals. All right, so again, I just recommend listening to part 1 first, and then again, going back to the phases of training if you haven't done that. So the last episode in part 1, I chatted on single sets, multiple sets, pyramid, and supersets. So all of these training systems are appropriate for individuals beginning an exercise routine all the way up to elite athletes that have been training for years. So today we'll move into 3 new training systems, and they are circuit training, peripheral heart action, and drop sets. These methods are appropriate for most audiences, but not everyone. And I will dig into each one a little bit further to educate you on the dynamics of each system and when they can safely fit into your routine. So the first one is circuit training, and I think that we've all heard of circuit training one way or the other. This method is wildly popular among many audiences, whether you're a beginner in exercise or again, you've been exercising for many, many years, whether you're in student athletics or you join a class for individuals 65 and older. Circuit training is so beneficial to altering your body composition. Plus, the number one reason I feel circuit training is so popular amongst many, many people is that it's good if you have a limited amount of time. So, circuits consist of a series of exercises that an individual will perform one after the other with minimal rest between each exercise. So typical dynamics for circuit training include low to moderate number of sets, so anywhere from 1 to 3 sets, with moderate to high repetitions, like 8 to 20, and then short rest periods, and that can be anywhere from 15 to 60 seconds between each exercise, depending on the client that is training. So to kind of back up, just think circuit training, you have 1 to 3 sets of, let's say, 1 to 3 different exercises, and you can repeat each exercise in repetitions with a moderate repetition pace, or you can also time yourself too. So a lot of times circuit training, what you'll see is, you'll train for 30 seconds on, and then you'll take 15 seconds of a break between each exercise. So these variables can be manipulated to enhance or decrease intensity. So again, you're choosing how many sets, you're choosing how many repetitions per exercise or your duration per exercise. You can also choose how long do you want to rest. So you can really manipulate your intensity level. And then it also depends on which phase of training you're in and then the time that you have available. So people that are in, let's say, phase 1, stabilization, you might be focusing in on lower amount of sets, lower amount of repetition or durations, but a higher rest period. Okay. And someone that's, let's say, in their max phase, they're probably upping their sets number of exercises and then decreasing the rest period in between. So I currently instruct many classes that I incorporate some kind of circuit training. I have a morning endurance class that I do during the summer that includes, it's about 3 sets of exercises. Each set has 4 exercises, and that is for 30 seconds on and then actually 10 seconds off. So I really whip those ladies into shape. So they're 30 seconds on, and that 10 seconds is literally just enough time to get to the next exercise. And then you can add challenge levels to that. So last week we did 30 seconds on for an exercise, 10 seconds of jumping jacks, and then 10 seconds of rest, literally to just jump to that next circuit. So it can really, really depend on, where you are as far as, are you intermediate or are you advanced, what the abilities are, what the goals are. But you can focus on circuit training, anywhere to 3 times a week. And I mean, maybe this is what you enjoy. You love circuit training. Maybe that is your exercise system of choice. But I can easily say that if you perform circuit training, 3 times a week for a minimum of 6 consistent months, you're going to see some really, really great body composition changes that you probably would like to be seeing after working that hard. I also have a mid-morning class for women 55 and older, and we tie in a lot of circuit training into our class as well. So typically, being with the age in the audience, this class is more strength, balance, and flexibility based, but to improve their cardio and then their endurance, we'll add in that circuit training. So the difference, my morning endurance class, we have 30 seconds on, 10 seconds off. for the gals that are 55 and older, we might do 30 seconds on, but we're taking, upwards to 20 to 30 seconds off. It just gives them time to transition to the next exercise and, of course, catch their breath. All right, the second system we'll chat about today is the peripheral heart action system. And I know I say this a lot, but this is one of my more favorite approaches to my personal fitness training, especially when I'm not training for anything specific, such as an event. But I'm rather just kind of focused on maintaining yet challenging my body in a different way, yet keeping my mind active with a lot of variety. So I'm not just going through the motions, I'm still able to think and go through the checklist of how I should execute each exercise. This is a training system appropriate for most, if not all, audiences. It's a multi-dimensional program that can be manipulated to either enhance or decrease your intensity again. So very, very similar to circuit training. It's the peripheral heart action system is actually just a variation of the circuit training. And again, it alternates between upper body and lower body exercises throughout the circuit. So that's kind of the difference. The system distributes blood flow between the upper and the lower extremities, which can potentially improve circulation. So again, this is one type of training I explore a lot when instructing my 55 and older gals. I love knowing that their exercise selection could be helping to improve their circulation, which I think we all, of course, need to focus on, but especially as we get older and then northern Minnesota, we're kind of cold up here. So the number of exercises performed in a circuit in this type of variation can vary depending on the program's goal, the client's goal. So here you could perform, 2 to 6 exercises per circuit, again, focusing in on that moderate to high repetitions, 8 to 20 reps per exercise, and then repeating 1 to 3 times through. These dynamics depend on what phase of training you're in again. So let's say that you're in phase 1, the stabilization phase. You could focus on 6 exercises for 12 to 15 reps each, and then maybe you only cycle through once. So you just repeat everything 1 time through. But now again, we're in phase 4, or let's imagine, and you're in the max strength phase. You could focus on 3 exercises for 8 reps, cycling through now 4 to 6 times. So you have less intensity, I should say, as far as higher numbers, but you're cycling through this entire circuit much more, 4 to 6 times. This system fits all phases of training, whether you're just beginning or you're gaining stabilization, you're trying to focus on increasing your exercise knowledge. So the beginner all the way up to the high load phases, such as that phase 4, the max strength phase. And you're just really looking to maintain your endurance level. All right, so moving on is our last training system, which is drop sets. So this system is popular amongst bodybuilders because it's a technique that will allow you to continue past the point of muscle failure, which increases lean muscle mass with a high intensity level. So while a drop set involves performing exercises in a set to failure, this system also gives you the opportunity to perform beyond that muscle failure point. And here's how it is done. You'll perform an exercise until failure, then remove a small percentage of the load, anywhere from 5 to 20%, and continue on with that particular exercise to focus on completing 2 to 4 more reps. And then again, if you need to, you can decrease the load 5 to 20%. And it can be repeated several times, typically 2 to 3 times to get through all of the reps that you would like to within that drop set. Now, if you have 3 successful load decreases with no rest, this would be referred to as a triple drop. So this kind of bounces back to episode 1 when we talked about our pyramid system. But in my mind, I can see why you'd want to perform the pyramid system first before dabbing into a drop set. So if you remember, a pyramid system involves either progressing, so a light to a heavy load approach, or regressing, a heavy to light load approach with your loads during a set of exercises. So increasing or decreasing. It's a method that allows you to prepare and play around with your weight first, before moving into the drop sets where you're really focusing in on that heavy load to begin with and then slowly decreasing. So drop sets are considered an advanced form of resistance training and is really only suitable for experienced lifters. So I would definitely keep that in mind. A drop set system is not appropriate for beginners. Even if you've gone through phase 1 and 2 that work on stabilization and your prime mover strength, I would say it's pretty critical to have a few years of exercising under your belt first, plus a very strong education on proper lifting technique before digging into a casual drop set system. And then also, is it necessary? I mean, yes, it's fun to play around with some of these systems, but if it's for bodybuilding and that's not one of your goals, I'd say if you want to dab into it and play around with it, maybe not give yourself as much of a heavy load, that's fine, but really take your safety into consideration, especially with a system that is for experienced lifters. All right, so these were 3 training systems that are beneficial in their own unique ways. So you have circuit training, which is great for all audiences. You can pick a moderate number of exercises for a moderate number of repetitions or duration to complete those exercises with moderate amounts of rest in between each. Peripheral heart action, same concept as that circuit training, but you're just alternating between an upper body exercise to a lower body exercise to assist in better circulation throughout your entire body. And then that last one, drop sets, which are beginning nice and heavy with those loads, moving towards the point of muscle failure, and then trying to go beyond that muscle failure. And again, that is for some advanced lifters. So again, keep your safety in mind. But always know that you can adapt to these types of training systems. It's amazing when you put specific demands on your body will adapt and just acclimate to the loads that you're putting on your body. If anything, just keep your safety in mind. I can't say that enough. Go through the different phases first and then dig into these mini series of the different training systems if you want some variety. The next episode that we will go over is, let me get my notes. What do we got going on next time? We have the split routine system, vertical loading and horizontal loading. And then we'll kind of end with a summary. So we have a few more systems to go over. Some are okay for most audiences, but you'll just have to kind of find out and see what they're all about, I guess.
We'll just have to wait a little more and figure out.
Yeah, all right.
What I like about this is that I feel like there's part of working out is just, if you really don't like it, it's just like getting through it for a while. And most people don't grow to love exercise, but they grow to enjoy it, right? And then there are the crazy people that we really like it. Like, you find something that you say, wow, I really like doing this. I even posted the other day that working out for me now, it has become one of the very few non-negotiable things in my day. Like, there are very few things that I won't move around, that I won't shuffle, that I won't reschedule. But my morning workout, no, that's set in stone. If I have an early morning, I'll wake up earlier to get it done, right? So, I mean, these are things that you can kind of learn, but some people still want a certain amount of variety. And I think that a lot of these training systems can come in exactly for that, right? Like, to change it up a bit, like you said, and just you're still getting an amazing benefit, but if you want to go through different training systems for a period of time, that also gives you something different to do.
Right. Variety is so huge when it comes to exercise. I can say honestly, I've never instructed the same class ever. We've used the same exercises, we've used the same music, but not one class. It's like a fingerprint. There's
Yep.
not another class that I've instructed that has been the same. And not that that needs to be the case with your workouts, but it just goes to show the importance of variety, whether that's focusing in on those same four different exercises that are like your meat and bones of every session, but now you're increasing load, decreasing, tempo is different.
Something's
At
changing.
Right. It's at the end of your session versus the beginning of the session. Like just add variety. And these systems are so wonderful to play around in. And then maybe you're there for a month and then you move on to something different. I would say for someone that is really struggling with trying to keep exercise in their life consistently, circuit training is going to be, I feel, in my opinion, one of the best training systems to dig into because it can be quick, it can challenge you, but you can also decrease that challenge level if you need to. You can pick and choose your different exercise selections. I mean, it really is a whole array of greatness because you can really just accustom and accommodate yourself with what you need. But circuit training is wonderful. I would say dab into that if you're struggling with any kind of exercise motivation or accountability.
Yes, it's good. There's lots to do. It's not just exercise. There's lots of options in there.
Yeah.
And next week we're going to be talking about one of my favorite ranting topics, which is cheat meals. So,
ooh, is that even a thing?
This one should be good. So we're going to talk all about cheat meals. So don't miss it. We'll be here right where you find us every week. See you then.